What are some of the things you would talk about before about getting some of the younger demographics involved, as opposed to UFC, like you were saying?
That's what it is. I think it's taking it back to that to a youthful demographic, and some of the things that they're attracted to the actual sport that have been tested and proven that work. It may be the theatrics from the WWF. It may be implementing some of the things that I've seen the UFC do with the Ultimate Fighter Challenge. So you're more invested in the actual fighters because you've seen them grow or what the adversities are in a different way. So you know them a little more. Right now we build our excitement around the fighters based on the fight itself. Fight by fight by fight. We don't even know the people that have strong personalities that bleed through. They become the biggest stars in boxing. They become what Floyd Mayweather is to boxing. And Floyd is misunderstood. A lot of times people misinterpret his actions or why he's doing what he's actually doing. I know him personally, around him a lot more to know who he actually is inside.
So what did you think about last week with Showtime?
I think it's a good deal for him. I think if they can keep exciting enough opponents in front of him for him to continue sustaining 1 million views, it'll make sense. If he starts to fight guys that don't...
What's your personal relationship with him now?
I told you, he's like my brother.
Still?
Yeah, you ever have an argument with your brother?
Of course.
Then you know what I go through.
Curtis, got a question now. You love hip-hop, man. You do hip-hop. Now, how'd you get involved with boxing?
Boxing, I always was passionate about it. Like, from a kid, I boxed when I was like 12. I was around it, and again, having those relationships with the top fighters kept me closer to it than usual. You know, and you know how it started. It started with me wanting to collaborate with Floyd because I don't see anything else that he's passionate about. And even when you're in a good financial space, because he has a lot of money, I have a lot of money, if you don't have income away from boxing, when you're not boxing, what can you expect? You see what I'm saying? So I was just trying to develop what would happen for him following him actually fighting, because I'd hear him think out loud and say, I got 2 or 3 more left in me. So to see him, if he actually fulfills...
6 fights in 30 months is a lot.
Yeah, I doubt it.
What do you about this gentleman?
I doubt it strongly.
Yeah.
Curtis, what's up with Gamboa? When are we going to see him next in the ring? And how do you feel about him being involved at that PAD mess in Miami?
I was looking at Gamboa. We're entertaining Gamboa versus Bradley. And the issue was the weight, moving them up in weight that fast, and that fell apart. And we started looking at Gamboa versus DeMarco, and Gary came back and felt like DeMarco needed to fight before fighting Gamboa. So you know, there's a lot of things that we're actually cutting through. I'm only telling you the things that have fell apart because I'm not going to tell you the things I'm working on because you people get in the way. Because then the opinions start flying and then you make the opponents nervous. With a guy of Gamboa's caliber, you get people that try to move away from having to fight him early. Like he wants Broner to fight. He wanted to fight Broner. But you see Broner when he sees... take advantage of that PED excuse because Gamboa's never failed any actual drug test, and he's been tested repeatedly in all his professional bouts. He's a clean fighter to my knowledge, and when these situations happen, you know who Gamboa blames it on? He blames being in that PD actual case on me. He blames it on me because he said people didn't pay as much attention to it as they pay attention to him now. So every little detail, every little thing. You see me be in the daily newspaper because I kissed the photographer, kissed the journalist.
They love you.
it becomes, they forgot that the cars crashed the day before at NASCAR. And the only thing they were covering was 50 Cent gets snubbed by journalists.
Curtis, I got a question for you. From Connecticut myself. Two things I do want to ask you. One, I know you had a passion for boxing. To take on a promotional role, you're still on a performance level. Number one, it's got to be one of the hardest professions. And you do need one-on-one, which we know you have. But also, to have it happen in your home state, as of right now where you're residing, what does it mean to you?
It feels great, like to be there, because everyone on every platform that means something, media-wise, has embraced me being there. You know, for Hartford, it's been an area that in my early days was one of the biggest places for me to come perform, because they tuned into hip-hop culture in a way.
So a lot of love there.
A lot of underground love before the music took off. So it's always been a comfortable place for me to actually be.
So, next question. Next question I want to ask you. You've had the opportunity to walk down the aisle with Mayweather and side by side with him. And I've talked to other hip hop artists too. They say that the walk from the dressing room is similar like the walk to the stage. Can you tell us a little bit more what it means to you? Like when you're walking out, is there any?
It's far more intense. Walking to the actual ring with Floyd, and when I walk with the fighters, which you've invested, not financially but emotionally, because you have a relationship with the actual fighter and it's your friend away from that. And then you've seen all the discipline, you've seen all the work that it took to get to this point. You feel like you're getting into a fight. So you start to have butterflies like you're going to fight when he's going to get a fight.
Mr. Jackson, you have this gentleman right here. He's a world champion. Tell me, you have a lot of resources at your disposal. You're in movies, your music, radio. What kind of things do you have in plan for Mr. Dib here?
Well, I mean, yesterday we did Fox, CBS, ESPN, Vivo, different platforms that this would be the big portion of the promotions for this event, and we spent the full day doing press day, television shows and pieces that you see coming out later. For Billy, I'm really interested in taking Dibs to Dubai, because no one's actually marketing the fact that. Tell them,
well, what people don't understand is that I'm the only Arab boxing world champion since Prince Nassim Hamed in 2001. And unfortunately for Prince Nassim Hamed back then, you know, the Dubai market still hadn't exploded. But right now it's exploded, and as you guys know, it's bigger than ever. Dubai is one of the most beautiful countries in the world. And they want a superstar. They just don't know that I'm there. Yeah. But you know, now that we've touched base with a few people and they know that Billy Dib does exist and he holds one of the linear championships in the world of boxing, they're all like excited. So you know, I mean, you guys are definitely going to see some really exciting things. You know, first and foremost, we've got to show Evgeny the respect for this fight. Yeah. You know, I've not underestimated this guy at all. I promise you, I've trained like this guy was like Mike Tyson. Because, you know, I don't like to lose. And I know 50 doesn't like to lose either. And when somebody loses, we all lose. And we collaborate. You know, and me, I'm going out to be victorious and set the platform for bigger and better things. That's what I'm doing.
This is the thing that makes that direct connection to pop culture and hip-hop culture that I talked about. You already said, when he lose, I lose. Yeah. So the person that is choosing another artist to support within hip-hop culture wants to watch because he wants to actually see Billy lose because of the connection to 50 Cent. Exactly. So it means he resonates stronger whichever way, whether it's the positive side that he just loves Billy because he's associated with 50 Cent, or because he just wants to see 50.
Well, I've received mixed messages from people saying they don't like 50, so they don't like me. Like, you don't know me. How can you not like me? You don't even know 50, so how can you not like me?
This is online.
Yeah, so either way, it's
Twitter world.
Yeah, Twitter.
50.
So Curtis, after this fight, Billy to Queens. I mean, look at the stuff. It's Connecticut stuff. Let's look at the real name. Right? Show the toughness. Do you get a chance to go back yourself to Queens?
I'm trying to avoid him being shot.
Queens has changed. Come on, Curtis, you know that.
After Friday night.
We want to be alive.
Billy.
We want to be alive.
Billy, after Friday night, who's on your radar when you take out this cat?
I've seen you fight. I seen you fight in AC when you first beat Loevno. What's the difference between that fight and now?
Chalk and cheese. You know, that was then. This is now. I'm a completely different animal, and you're going to see that on Friday night. Tune in, because Loevno's the past. He's gone. If Loevno still fought today, I'd knock his ass out. So I'm not even talking about him.
So I said, who's after this fight, man? Who's on your radar?
Anybody and everybody. I'm ready. Listen, anyone in the featherweight division can get it. I'm ready.
Couple last words for your fans out of Poland.
Thank you for the support. You know, tune in on Friday night. It's going to be an amazing fight. This is the second coming of Billy Dib alongside SMS Promotions. This is our first promotion, and we're going to do it big, and we're doing it big in Connecticut.
50. One second, buddy. 50. Couple last words for your fans out of Poland. You've been out there many times, and couple last words for your fans out in Poland.
I'm Poland, man. I'm gonna get out there again after I finally get this record out. You know, I've been experiencing difficulties at different points because of me being at the point I'm at in my actual music career. This is my 5th and final requirement within my actual contractual obligations to my company. So we went through an audit type of situation, and now that everything's cleared up, everybody back ready to work, so we gonna get it done.
You staying that shitty?
Yeah.
Mr. Jackson,
for you, I guess both for you. You know, you win this fight, 126. You got guys with Golden Boy, guys with Top Rank. Are you open to working with both guys, even though with that whole mess that happened with Jason Velez and the Kodo card, and you and Golden Boy falling out?
I don't hold any of those things against the old regime. Like, you know, you see how consistent boxing is. The players have been the players, they're going to be the players, right? So in order to work your way into the actual situation where you have some type of decent respect that's going on here, you got to kind of play by.
Well, once you build the product,
they're
not changing. When I get there and I get comfortable.
What influence do you think that it's going to be with hip hop and boxing across? Do you think that it's needed almost
to offer that youth audience this drifted away from it? Yeah, I mean, like anyone would be aware of the youth being involved in vibrantly enjoying hip-hop and music culture. Hip-hop is now pop culture. It's not as niche as it used to be. You don't have to choose it as an art form to be exposed to it. You might enjoy jazz, or pop culture, or pop music, or country music, but you're going to hear some hip-hop and be aware of some hip-hop.
Even if you go, so you see a lot of the old fighters, you go back to Sugar Ray Robinson era, they train in jazz music. It's almost, and you walk into a gym nowadays, you see guys training to mostly hip-hop, and that's where they get most of their art form and articulate.
Because of the tempo of the actual music, they gravitate to that, other than some of the smoother stuff that doesn't push them. You know, and then content, a lot of the actual fighters come from low-income environments where they ID with some of the content that's being expressed through hip-hop culture and hip-hop music.
So you're a businessman. Obviously, you're making a big investment working with Billy Dib. What is it that you see in Billy Dib that made you feel that this is going to be a good investment, that I can really do big things with this gentleman right here?
Well, Billy, for me, the first time I seen him, I was actually out in Australia and I was made aware of him. But then I saw him fight on the undercard of Floyd, De La Hoya Mayweather. And from there, we actually talked about it because we were actually still in the dressing room, me and Floyd, at that point. And it was like, I like him. You know, when people get upset, they say all kind of things, but it's clear that he actually likes him. Even that, there was a point that we were actually discussing moving him from SMS or TMT Promotions to Mayweather Promotions at that point. But I mean, it's a mess. How do you clean up the mess in conversation that you know is if you're around boxing enough to actually know what goes on behind the scenes, then you would know it's a mess. And I'm not really, I don't lie when I don't have to, so I won't go further into a situation that's a bad situation.
You mentioned about Chris Jones during the conference call. Can you talk about that?
About Chris Jones, yeah, but we wanted the opportunities to do something with Chris. They actually interested in fighting in Indonesia?
No, in Singapore.
Singapore. Right.
They're interested in doing it in Singapore. We're interested in doing it in Dubai, America. We can do it in Australia. Wherever they want to do it, Chris John can get it. I've been chasing the fight for a long time, Fifth. You know, I'm ready for Chris John. Listen, when you're a champion, you want to unify with other champions. You know, I'm no disrespect to the contenders and everything like that, but they can all line up. I'm trying to fight the champions of the world. That's what boxing's about. You know, you win, you lose, well, so be it. At least you gave the fans the right fights. You try to unify the titles. That's the aim. I want to be an undisputed world champion. Now, if you got Chris John and these guys not wanting to fight, then it's not even possible.
I got one question for you. You asked me all these questions, right?
Sure.
What allows you? What you say should allow you to go down in history? Should it be the top fighter that fights the top fighters of his time? Or is it the guy that
makes the most money?
Maneuvers?
The guy that fights the best.
Yeah, the guy who fights the best.
I'm just trying to figure it out for myself.
Floyd still did fight a lot of Floyd and these guys still fight a lot of top guys years ago.
I was specifically talking about Floyd, but you must identify with the ducking and dodging. Excuse me.